And with our shaky economy, bankruptcy is losing its stigma in the South Florida's business world. So coming up next, I talk with veteran South Florida businessman, a CPA, and international turnaround specialist, Jim Martin. And in an interview taped earlier, I asked Jim how he approaches handling a bankruptcy.
Dave, the key for a company that's contemplating a bankruptcy is, what are they trying to accomplish if they do file a bankruptcy? What are you trying to accomplish? As we know, bankruptcy provides protection right to the debtor in the form of a stay, if you will, on unsecured debt and to some degree to your secured debt. And so bankruptcy, what you want to make sure is that you have the right approach when you're considering a bankruptcy.
Well, you know, Jim, the overall scheme of things, you know, you're going to file bankruptcy because you're broke. Well, you know, and that's a primary, you know, if I'm running a business and I say, my God, I don't have any money, I got to go Chapter 11 or something. And so how do you approach it that way?
Well, that is, I mean, that's oftentimes you're insolvent.
Yeah.
And so that's when you would consider it, right? But I will tell you that bankruptcy requires cash in order to fund the expenses associated with bankruptcy. Let's not forget that you've got lawyers involved.
Oh, yeah.
You've got a lot of professionals that will be involved to take you professionally through a bankruptcy. And so I tell my clients, you need to build up a war chest before you even go into a bankruptcy, which sounds almost counterintuitive, but right, you do need to do that.
Well, is it expensive to file bankruptcy?
It's a cost,
right,
and there is an expense involved, there's no question. It doesn't have to be prohibitively expensive.
Right.
So it's important that you have your ducks in a row, so to speak, before you file a bankruptcy, and that's important. So it's important that you have professionals in place ahead of time that can advise you through the process.
Well, you know, bankruptcy in a business is kind of losing its stigma anymore. We've got all the legacy airlines that filed Chapter 11. You know, we got GM, you know, and all these guys filing Chapter 11. Do you think it's a wise business tool? Or?
It can be. It can be. It is, in fact, a tool. And I tell our clients that. Many of our clients are facing that question today. And many of them we have taken through a bankruptcy, and some of them are in a bankruptcy today, and we feel confident we're going to be able to get them out. Oftentimes in today's environment, a Chapter 11, unfortunately, will turn to a Chapter 7 liquidation because the business plan was not solid when they went into bankruptcy, i.e. they didn't have a plan to exit. You know, we can always go in, but you need to have the adequate plan, or actually a proper plan to exit a bankruptcy, and you got to provide that in front of a court and to the judge.
Well, okay. Do you help the businesses say, look, okay, it's okay if you can file bankruptcy, but you got to start thinking about the exit here?
Absolutely, absolutely. In fact, we've been in companies where the entrance and exit was all of 90 days.
Wow.
So to your point about stigmas, a bankruptcy doesn't have to be a very long process. You want to get in, you want to clean up the balance sheet, which is the key part. Clean up the debt aspect of your balance sheet, and then you want to exit as quickly as you can with a good, solid plan that obviously the court's approved.
Okay. All right. Well, how do the creditors feel about this? You know, dealing with them, I imagine they're rather irritated. But how do they approach these things?
Well, in the case of the unsecured creditors, Dave, so that's your trade, your vendors, and your professionals, and all the unsecured debt, credit cards, and leases and things like that. They view a bankruptcy oftentimes as a positive, in the sense that at least there's going to be resolution to the fact that they haven't been paid in a long time. And so they'll become what's called part of the unsecured creditors committee, and that group will then petition the court and the company to be paid a certain amount of dollars through the bankruptcy, and then when they exit as well.
Sometimes those committees can be really contentious.
They can. They can.
Do you get involved with the...
We do. We've been involved as part of the Unsecured Creditors Committee. We've been involved as part of, on behalf of the secured creditors. We've been involved, obviously, on behalf of the debtors.
Yeah. Okay. Well, listen, we're running out of time. I just want to say thank you, Jim Martin, sponsor of the Biz Show, for giving us some really good idea, really some solutions to the bankruptcy situation.
Thank you, Dave.
It ain't all bad.
No, it's not.
And it could be used as a tool.
That's right. Thank you.
All right. Thanks for being here, Jim.
Thank you.
Yeah. And stay with us. We'll return right after these words.